me and you, we're friends because we have this podcast, right?
Oh my God, did you just call me your friend?
I know it made your day.
It
Did you
took
cry?
2 years.
Don't cry.
Guys,
Don't cry.
literally says we're coworkers at best.
This is your best date
Oh
ever.
my God, this is my favorite episode. I'm
See
sorry,
Until you bring
Paulina.
3 guys
You
in.
have your
Oh my
podcast
God.
threesome?
Now you got 3 guys. Now it's
We're
just...
friends.
All right, so we're work friends.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, and we are back. And by we, I don't know if you noticed, Paulina looks a little different. I look a little different. Everything's different. I am Tati, and I am joined here today with Glenn and Jairo. I'm so excited. I kept saying, like, this is my dream, but then it sounds really bad when I say that. Because
Being
people are
in
like,
between
oh, it's your dream. Yeah, no, that's not it. But I am the token, like, single person on the podcast. And so anytime I get to be around other single people, especially men, I like to pick brains a lot. So, like, Paulina took one for the team and said, I'm going to sit it out so we can have 2 men on the pod. This is the first time we're ever doing this, so I'm really excited. And then, Marco, what did we realize? That everybody here is a Leo, except Jairo.
I'm gonna say
But we're all August.
Yep.
Yeah.
So I think keep that in mind as they talk, especially like ladies. Like, you know, if you think about a Virgo man, a Leo man, think about it. You know what I'm saying? But we're here today to talk all things single male perspective, dating. What's the tea? Because again, I am not the voice of all single people. I'm kind of crappy at dating. So I'm curious to hear what are your thoughts on dating and what that looks like. So I have some questions, but overall, I just want to have an authentic, open conversation. Be as transparent as possible. Cool. And let's have fun with this. So I already told the gentleman that we like to do a say it with your chest. And I told him have free will. Say whatever you want about anything. I will go first just so it gives you guys time to really think about it.
Okay.
So my say it with my chest is, why can't we have it all? Ladies, why can't we have it all? I feel like men always look at us like, oh, you're asking for too much. You're doing too much. I feel like that's like my nickname in a phrase. Tati does too much Torres. And so even when selecting males to be on this podcast, because we put up like a poll or like a question, like if you know any men that are, boom, boom. We put bullet points of what we were looking for. And it was so hard to find a man that met all those bullet points. Like we said, charismatic,
Typical.
We got close.
honest, good career. Like there was so much that aligned and it was like really hard. And congrats, you guys made it. You're the closest contenders.
All right.
Not all the way there.
You both
Maybe you were, maybe you're not. We gotta make sure you stay humble.
By the end of
you
the
know what I'm saying?
podcast, we'll realize what we're missing.
Yeah, you know, in hopes to find out, this is really like a therapy session for all of us. So yeah, that's my say it with my chest. I just feel like I'm curious to dive into your brains. Like, why are women viewed as people who want too much? So that's my say it with our chest. My say it with my chest. Who wants to go next?
I'll go next.
Okay.
I like that. My say with my chest would be, I feel like a lot of times men are seen as different, not enough emotional intelligence, not enough vulnerability, not enough, going to therapy or being able to work on yourself. For me, we absolutely are that, right? I think there's a lot of work, there's a lot of humility that we experience throughout our life, no matter how successful you get to be, no matter all the projects that you're working on. At the end of the day, there's plenty of men, myself, like predominantly, like I'm always trying to be like 1% better, always want to be able to grow, always want to be able to just be a better version of myself. So that's what I'll start off with, say with my chest.
I love that. That's awesome.
I mean, for me, I think saying it with my chest, right? I'm 36. I'm a little bit older, I would say. And it's okay to be 36 and not have kids and never been married.
Yeah.
A lot of people that I surround myself around that are my age are in that boat, and I'm not. I'm kind of that anomaly of some of the people that I surround myself around. And I've tended to try to compare myself to others. And one day I kind of was like, well, it's okay. Like, I'm good where I'm at. And I'm, like you were saying, continuing to grow day by day. I think for me, like, it doesn't matter your age. It doesn't matter what your circumstance is, as long as you're comfortable with who you are. And from a self-worth perspective, I think that's very, very key.
Oh, I love that. And we're going to dive into just self-worth and value in a bit. But I think it's important to establish some context when talking to both of you. So let's start with a very open question. Mm-hmm. Are you single by choice? Meaning, if you had to choose, would you be in a relationship right now? Or are you like, no, I'm happily single?
I mean, I would say I'm single by choice, but I'm open to a relationship.
Okay.
Like I'm looking for the right partner, like intentionally dating and finding that person who will be someone I want to be with for the rest of my life. I'm not just dating to date to have fun at this point in my life. So I would say I'm a single by choice, but open to being in a relationship. So
Okay.
kind of goes hand in hand with that answer, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think I'm the same way where I am, single by choice, but I really believe in relationship, right? Call me a hopeless romantic. I feel like at the end of the day, like that's what I'm striving for. Being able to date with intentionality, being able to make sure that you find that partner that, you could grow with, that you could continue to develop and create that long-term relationship is something that I really value and I look forward to. Obviously, as you keep going along, you meet people and you realize there's areas where, you could grow as a person. There's areas where they can grow as a person, and being able to just find that intention and be able to like be honest with it and authentic to yourself, I feel like that's something I've been striving to. So single by choice, but hopefully finding,
You heard that, ladies. They're single by choice, but they're open. We
Slide
love
in the DMs right now.
slide it. We're gonna put their handles. So there you go. We love metacognitive kings. Yes, we love that for you guys. Thinking about your moves and thinking about your thinking. So we're gonna make the word single a verb right now. How do you single? Are you like a laid back, I focus on me, I go to the gym, I'm excelling in my career single? Or are you, I go on multiple dates with different women. If I don't like them, okay, next. I don't waste my time. Or are you just somebody who has your fun and that's it? How do you single?
I mean, I think for me right now, it's just kind of where I'm at with my life. I just did a complete career change and decided to start my own business and things like that. So I'm single and focusing on me at the moment and building a brand and just kind of focusing on my physical health as well and mental health and going to therapy. So right now I'm single, more or less like focusing on myself. I have gone on dates here and there, but it's not like I'm someone who's going to be dating like 3 different women within a week and just seeing what I like. I'm not at that point, and I don't ever want to be at that point. That's just not who I am, and it does sound very tiring and a lot of energy, too much of my energy into something that I would rather put a little bit more focus into myself at this time. So that's how I single.
Okay.
Currently.
Yeah. What about you, Jairo?
Yeah, no, for me, I think the way that I single is focusing on myself, being able to grow and be able to, just, I feel like I'm involved in like 500 different things when it comes to dance, my career, my investments, everything that I try putting my energy towards. And to me, like, I'm not the type of person that could go and date multiple people at once just because how authentic I am. Like for me, like I was joking around with one of my friends. I'm like, I can't imagine talking to 2 or 3 people and just being vulnerable and opening up to them. You can't establish those type of connections. It just doesn't exist. And if you're exerting your energy to one person, then another person, then another person, it's just not me, right? I feel like my personality, the type of way that I am, works well with connecting with the person on a one-on-one basis, having those long conversations, having those hard to have questions, right? Of what we want from one another and be able to grow into that. I think it'd be impossible if you were talking to like 5 different people all at the same time. At least for me, I feel like as to me, I really, give myself out there and be able to like connect with that person. So to me, it's a little bit of focusing on myself, growing, and then hopefully, as things come along, running into the person that, I think could be for me long term. I'm a big believer in, things happen for a reason. And to me, it's everything in my life that I've been blessed with or I've been lucky to experience has been just by fate, right? Just by something popping into my life. And to me, I feel like love shouldn't be forced. It shouldn't be something that you're like, I have to hit this deadline. To your point, right? I'm 32, right? It's like, oh, like I'm over my 30s. I got to find my person. She's got to be this age. No, to me, it's like, I want to make sure that I could continue to be authentic to myself and, the right queen will be able to show up.
Yeah,
so
I agree with that. I think the authenticity piece is like very, very key, right? Especially like, again, being yourself and being able to like connect with others. My career path has always been in hospitality, so creating those personal connections is something that comes natural to me.
Yeah.
And I think, going back to what you're saying, if you're trying to talk to 3 or 4 different people at the same time, how can you establish those connections in order for you to be able to have that emotional intelligence to be able to be vulnerable with somebody, right? And you can't do that when you're doing that with 4 or having these different conversations with like 4 or 5 different women. That's just literally impossible to do.
Yeah.
So
I like how you both said like being authentic and showing up as yourself. Do you feel like there's pressure as a man to kind of put on a facade and show up as a certain type of man? Or is it genuinely easy to just show up as you are when dating?
I mean, for me, I'm going to show up who I am. I know I've always been that same, whether it was through work or whether it was through friendships, families, dating. I've always just been the same Glenn, you know, like, I don't think you need to change who you are based off of dating. I don't know. That's just always been me. There are people out there that do kind of put on a facade, you know, you see them in person and then you see what they put on social media and they're two completely different people.
Yeah.
That's not who I am, and that's not anybody I would ever want to be. What you're going to get, whether it's on social media or what you meet in person, is just always going to be the authentic Glenn.
Yeah, because I think also, you know, in dating, I would say a lot of people think like you have to show up as like the best version of yourself. You have to like be super put together and make sure you're not seeming, at least from a woman's perspective, you don't want to look too crazy. You don't want to look too eager. You don't want to look thirsty, but you also want to show interest. So it's like we constantly have to battle of like, okay, I'm going to be me, but I can't be too much. I can't be too much for a man. But then also I don't want to be too reserved because I want to show interest. So that's why I asked, like, is it so easy to just do that? Do you feel like you show up as your best self, or is yourself just the best? I don't know.
I mean, it really all depends on what I got going on at that moment too.
Yeah.
You know, every you know, things could happen within your life. Maybe you set up a date with somebody and your grandmother just passed away yesterday, and you're like now trying to still be yourself, but also, you know, deal with this circumstance. And you know, I've had situations where, you know, I've gone on dates and, you know, I had something that may have been life-changing at that moment, and I'm like, man, I still got to show up. But if I'm in a certain kind of mood, I guess I would say, my authentic self is going to tell you what's going on, opposed to trying to hide and be somebody that I'm not.
Yeah.
And I think that's what keeps me real, I guess you can say.
Yeah, no, I think to me, that answer has changed over the years. I feel like when I was younger, what I always like wanted to be like growing up, I was always taught like, hey, you have to be perfect, right? You have to be the backbone of the family. You have to, you know, you're the first, you know, first generation student that graduated. You're the first one to have a career. So to me, I always had that mentality of I have to show up as, you know, the best version of myself. I have to come perfect, or I have to come ready. But I feel like through therapy, through different conversations, different dating, right, that I've done over the years, I realized that's not true. Right? That's not me. That's not who I want to be. That's not how I want to show up. And I've been able to like learn and be able to grow and come out for like, no, you know what? Let me be vulnerable, right? Let me be authentic to what I got going on. I had like a recent conversation too, where I was talking to someone and it was like, oh, if someone's not ready for you, right? How do you pursue, right? Do you like, you know, they're like, oh, I'm not ready. I'm not ready to date right now, right? And you're like, why not? Like this seems like to be a match like made in heaven, right? But they're like, oh, I'm not ready. And it's like, what does that mean? So then to you as a man, you're like, all right, do I pursue it or do I kind of back off? And someone that told me great feedback was like, you want to pursue because you want them to run now rather than keep chasing and chasing and chasing and you'll never get it, right? You want, like at the end of the day, you don't want to be too much, right, for someone. And at the end of the day, that's I'm like, wow, like that opened up my eyes right away. I'm like, actually, no, like I do want to be authentic. And for me, it's like, I know what I want, right? So to me, like if I want to show up, I want to say, hey, here's what I want, here's what I'm looking for. And if they're willing to understand it, great. You keep moving on to the next level. If not, thanks. You know, like it could have been, but maybe it wasn't, right? Maybe it didn't work out that way. So to me, I'm constantly trying to come more and more authentic to my, you know, dating life for sure.
That makes me think that, for example, I know a man, I actually know a few men who feel like they are not financially where they would like to be in life. They haven't reached the goals they want to reach. And therefore, they don't want to be in a relationship until they reach those goals, right? Do you feel like if you really are into somebody and you really, let's say you meet somebody, you didn't reach your goals yet, you're not financially stable, but you meet a person and you're intrigued by them, do you still pause and say, wait for me, let me reach my goals and stuff? Or are you like, no, I'm going to pursue them and then I could still work on my goals? Like, what do you guys think about that?
I think to me, I'm such an ambitious person that it wouldn't steer me away, right? To me, it's that something that I want to grow with. And to me, at the end of the day, like I want to be able to have a partner that we grow together, right? Because no matter how much success one has, I'm always going to want more, right? That's just my type of mentality where I want to make sure they're taken care of. I want to make sure my family's taken care of. I want to make sure, right, we could continue to grow as a couple. So if I could find someone that meets me there, why not, right? I think about one of my best friends. Me and his wife talk all the time, and she's like, I knew him when, you know, we had to like wipe windshields together because we didn't have any money, and now they're booming, right? They have their own business. They have multiple different businesses and doing great. To me, I want to be able to, I don't think I necessarily, you're never going to find a finished product, right? Whether it's financially, whether it's mental, whether it's emotional intelligence, like it's always something that you want to continue to grow. Yeah. And if you could find that partner that gives you that opportunity to become better, why not, right? So to me, it's, if I, even right now, like I have my goals and I think I'm doing okay, but I'm like, I have 100 other projects that I got to finish. There's 100 different ways where I want to continue to succeed. If I find someone that could partner up with me and be able to like move that going forward, because at the end of the day, you always want your number one cheerleader, right? You always want the number one cheerleader guy too, right? I want to be able to support them to become the best versions of themselves. And I hope that they can support me become the best version of myself. And when you go hand in hand, it doesn't matter where you're at, you're going to go in and grow together. That's the goal, right? That's at least for me.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with that. I mean, also like, your goals may change once you meet your significant other, right? Your goals may now be together, or again, it could be completely different now that you found that person. But going back to your question in regards to like having the financial stability before, I don't think that should matter. I think, the person should, want to be with you for who you are, regardless of your financial state. And, dating at the very beginning, they don't really need to know how much you're really making or, like why would that matter if we're just getting to know each other at this particular moment? I'm not going to sit here and ask her like, so how much are you making? Like, what are you going to provide as far as financially to the table goes? Like, let's just get to know each other and vibe first before we even get into that depth, right? And so, no, I don't think I would change or not pursue because I'm not financially ready. Because I've done that in the past. I thought I was trying to, I wasn't ready. I need to focus on my career goals. And then a few years later, those career goals don't even matter because I'm not even with that company any longer. That's
right.
So like you waste your time saying you need to do this, and then 100%. Again, your goals change, right? So no, I mean, if that person if that feeling is organic, then you have to pursue. I almost feel like.
Man, when you guys talk, my brain, I want to like touch on 7 topics right now. I'm like so excited. Okay. The phrase, if he wanted to, he would. What are your thoughts on that phrase?
I agree
too.
You hear it. You heard it. Ladies, gentlemen, whoever you are watching, y'all heard it. 2 men, 2 single men, 2 single August men said if he wanted to, he would. And I truly believe that. And I think it's this whole like women who post online like, oh, men don't do this anymore. Men do that. They do. They do it for women they're interested in. They do it for women they like, they value, they respect.
I mean, I'm like, the least thing a woman is going to tell me is no. But you don't know unless you try, right? I mean, I'm a big believer in that. And for me, I'm more of like a organic type of connector. So if I see somebody in person, let's say I'm at a bar or something and we make eye contact multiple times, I'm going to go say what's up. The least thing that someone's going to tell me is no. So yeah, if you want to go get it, go try. Sitting back is only going to do what? The what if, and I don't want to live my life of what if. Yeah. So if it's something that I want to pursue, then I'm going to at least try. And if they tell me no, then hey, that's on you. Yeah. I guess our losses, I guess you could say in that sense. So I agree with that.
My hot take, I feel like we lost the art of like meeting people organically and just having those random connections because of social media, because of dating apps, because of all of that. So
agreed.
Currently in your dating stages or recently, like, how do you find these women? Are you on apps? Do you meet them at social gatherings? Like, what do you do?
To me, I think I like signed up for a social app like for like a week, and I was like, this is not me. Like I hate it. It doesn't show my personality. I'm a person that if I connect with someone, I'm like, hey, like let's meet, let's have a coffee, let's have a drink. Like we'll love to be able to have a conversation and see where you are intellectually, where you are like your mentality, how do you think, how do you act. So to me, I tried it for a little bit. I dated. It was like a week, and I was like, I hate this. I'm out. Like it was disgusting. I was like, it feels so fake. I'm like, this is not me. So to me, I think for me, I really try focusing on meeting organically. That's my way. I mean, social media goes a long way too. But to me, I feel like in my past, like it's always been able to just connect with someone, get that bond. And there's no better meeting than being able to meet face to face. And maybe, right, that's why where we're at right now. And I'm like, I haven't had a chance to see anything else, but organically would be the way to go for me 100%.
Yeah, me too. Like dating apps, like I already check my emails and text messages so much within a day that I don't have the time to be looking at messages on apps. Like it just doesn't feel right to me. It just, like you said, feels kind of icky. Honestly, just you can meet someone at a grocery store, at a coffee shop, through a mutual friend.
How often does that really happen? That you're like reaching for an apple, and he's also reaching for an apple, and you touch, and you're like,
I mean, that's a little
you gotta time out the apple reach. You gotta time it out.
realistically, I guess like. Where are y'all really finding people? Because I don't really grocery shop, but but like where are you?
Honestly,
that's my
I don't
problem.
cook, I don't
that's
clean.
that's my red flag. I don't
Uber
cook.
Eats, I guess. No.
Yeah, like
I don't know. I would say,
where
like,
ideally would you
Well,
go?
you know, when the Uber Eats comes, you see the app, you're like, no, just kidding.
Like, wait,
There's been a
Rachel
few- I
looks
mean,
kind of good.
There's
Hold
been a
on.
few different, like I've gone to certain events, or I've been out to a cool little, speakeasy at the Hoxton or something.
I was gonna say the Hoxton.
Yeah,
I've never met a man there, but
I mean,
it seems like a great place.
I was randomly doing a photo shoot at Oster Hall, and some chick came up and was like, "Yo, what is that cologne that you're wearing?" And from there, it
Ooh,
just
smooth.
went from there, like, or just literally at a bar.
Make sure you got a good
somebody
cologne.
Yeah, get the Gucci guilty. It helps.
Okay.
So they're all very different circumstances, honestly. I don't. As much as we want things to be very romantic, where yes, someone drops their groceries on the ground and you're picking it up and it's raining and all that, the likeliness of that happening all the time, very unlikely. But I mean, again, organically, just things happen from a faith perspective, and it's a lot of the times when you're least expecting it.
Yeah, I think I mentioned it earlier, right? It's not about looking for something, right? It's not like going out like, all right, this weekend I'm going to hit up a library, a grocery store, and over here I'm going to find the woman of my dreams. It's not that, the person you're going to be able to connect. And it might be someone you knew for a while, right? It might be someone that was already in your life and somehow you reconnected and you're like, hey, actually, why didn't we try this before, right?
Jairo, you could tell everybody you're in love with me. It's okay. I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
She's like, hot take.
Hot take. Jairo loves me.
So it's just being able to connect with. To me, I network a lot, right? My job, I'm in sales, right? I'm a sales manager for IT company, so I travel a lot. I'm doing a lot of different networking, meeting different people. I dance. I'm able to travel, to different cities, different states, different countries to be able to meet people. So I feel like meeting people comes very natural to me, but just that connection. I'm not necessarily looking for it every time I go, right? I'm not necessarily going out and, oh man, I'm going to find the woman of my dreams today, right? No, to me it's, hey, let me connect with people authentically. And if I could show up, maybe one day it'll lead into something else, right? I feel for me, my past relationships where I've been into developed organically. They've developed with them getting to know who I am, me getting to know who they are. And it wasn't ever planned where I'm like, I follow this girl, I'm going to message her, we're going to, it's going to go in. No, like it's never been like that. Yeah. So to me, it's just being able to really meet someone, and life has its surprises. I always say I've been lucky enough in my life where things come into my life that have been beautiful, and it's me without even knowing. I just put so much good energy and positivity into the world. I just, sometime from time to time, it comes back in your life. So
karma.
It's good. Yeah.
Totally random. I never told you guys we were going to talk about this because I didn't think about it till right now, but you talked about like faith and like, when it'll happen. Can you date? I don't know if you guys are religious or not, or spiritual, but like, can you date somebody in a different religion?
I tried to.
Okay.
And it ended up being a situation where, because I wasn't the same religion as she was, she had to no longer go with her feelings. She had to go with what her actual reality was.
Ooh.
And that was, and I'll be very vulnerable. That was like really hard for me because I've never was ever in that situation before where it was somebody that I met organically. We had such a great connection, but that religious piece was something that it was like she wouldn't have been able to do. And so from there, we kind of had to go our separate ways because she was very much into her religion, her specific religion, and I'm not going to throw all that out there because I don't want to put her on the spot. But her specific religion required me to have to also be in that religion as well, right? And that would have been a completely different life. I mean, my whole entire life would have had to change.
Yeah.
And that's not sitting here saying that would be something that I wasn't willing to do, but it wouldn't have been natural. It wouldn't have been who I authentically am, and I'm not going to change who I am. And I understand religion is a big thing, so unfortunately, we kind of had to separate in that sense because of how deep she was within her religion.
Wow. Yeah, I dated somebody like years back in college. And honestly, like if I think that was the one reason why I think I didn't take it seriously, because in the end I was like, okay, what does this look like as marriage? Because I personally wouldn't want to change my religion and convert, and they wouldn't either, you know? And I'm a strong believer in I would never want anybody to have to change for me in something they're so deeply rooted in, something they believe in that's part of their values, right? If it's like superficial stuff, like, oh, can you not go out with the boys till 3 a.m.? Like, you should be able to change that. But something so deeply rooted like this, I would never try to change somebody on. And it's just like, you know, I learned a lot from that person, and I personally had to walk away too.
And she said that she was like, I don't want you to have to change your religion for me. Like that's defeats the whole purpose of being in religion, like being religious.
Absolutely.
And I'm like, you know, you're absolutely right. But it was definitely one of the hardest like situations for me, because I was really into this person, and because I wasn't that particular religion, that was the main reason why we couldn't work itself out.
Wow.
So that was tough.
No, I mean, it's interesting, right? I think my family is very religious. They're always, you know, preaching about it and doing everything. I feel like when I was younger, I was had a little bit of a stronger faith. But what I've noticed to me is like, I'm very open. So to me, if it's, you know, if my partner has a different type of religion, like I'm okay with it. Like to your question, like it doesn't bother me. But it has come up to your point where I did date someone, and one of her core values was religion. She's like, hey, we'd love for you to come to church with me. We'd love for you to understand more. And to me, I was like, okay, yeah, like I'll do it. I'm open. I'm always open to learning, right? I'm always open to being able to follow that. But it was like, there was part of me that was like, okay, it's not as strong as a belief for me as it is for them. But you're doing it because you care for them. You're doing it because you're open to understand, like, yeah, like
for sure.
I'm able to do both. But I do think some people, it is a core part of who they are and their essence. And there's times where you can only meet them so far, right? So to me personally, I'm okay with them being of a different religion. To your point, like thinking about like marriage, there's other different ways where I'm like, okay, like I would ideally want this type of wedding, but to me, it's like if they have a different religion, we could work around it, right?
Yeah.
It's 2025. We could do half and half, do 2 weddings, whatever it may be.
Yeah.
So it's not
we got money. He said 2 weddings.
You know, like just making
Right?
making it different, right? To be able to, as long as they're both happy, it's something that we could like work with. But I do know that it does have a lot of core values and a lot of people that it just sometimes it's a huge, even if you try, right? Because the person I was dating, she mentioned at the beginning, and I was like, okay, yeah, like we'll work on it, and it would constantly come up like as an issue or as like a, hey, by the way, you know, you didn't come to church with me, or this came up, and I'm like, oh, okay, you know, I didn't realize it, right? Because it just wasn't as strong for me. And then I started realizing as I come along, like, okay, it is going to be something that got to take more of a core value in. So just learning.
So we talked about religion. What are some non-negotiables for you when you are dating or thinking about like a woman you would want to make your partner? Do you have non-negotiables?
I think to me, one of the things that I've noticed is a woman that's ambitious, right, for herself, right, to be able to want to be better for herself. Because I've noticed there's a lot of people that like kind of have this like flatline trajectory where they're okay with where they're at, they're okay with, you know, their job, they're okay with their family, whatever they may be. And I'm like, what's next? Like, what's next in your life? What's your next goal? And I was like, oh, I don't know. Like, I'm just, you know, enjoying the year for where it's come. I'm cruising. And they're doing well, right? But they're just cruising. I'm like, that's just not for me, right? It's I want more. Like, I want someone to be able to be hungry, right? Because to me, I'm a natural pusher. Like, I'm a natural, like, hey, like, I want to be better, so I want you to be better. And you start butting heads, right? Because I'm like, so what'd you do all day? Nothing? Oh, okay. What are you going to do this week? Nothing? All right.
Yeah.
You got any goals for next month? Nothing? Oh, okay. You know, you start losing that interest. So to me, that's a big non-negotiable for me. Like, I want someone that's wants to do more because it'll push me to be better, right? And for me, like, I want to build a kingdom, right? That's the end goal. And to me, it's I want to be able to have that powerhouse.
Why that face?
Because he said he wants to build a kingdom. Ooh, come on,
He's trying to find his queen.
Mufasa.
Hey, Lion King is my favorite movie, right?
Yeah. Okay, no, I mean, that's great. I think
I want to
great.
find my Nala, you know?
Oh, hey, now.
There you go.
Simba.
I don't really have I can't think of like a non-negotiable that just like pops up right in my head right away. Like, I'm willing to give everything every woman a chance. Like, I don't really have like a non-negotiable, like, I don't know, if she smokes cigarettes on a regular basis or something like that. That's probably nasty, but I probably wouldn't be pursuing that kind of woman in the first place.
Ooh,
like, so
talk about it.
you know, so there's not really many non-negotiables that I could not any that I could really think of right now. I mean, yes, very much someone who's, ambitious, driven, goal driven, wants to start a family. I think is something that I've been now getting towards. I used to think that I was like too financially selfish to like have kids, because I enjoy the things that I like to do.
Yeah.
But I also want to, like you mentioned, build a kingdom and have a legacy and have something to leave all this hard work that I'm putting into behind for, right? And so I don't really have non-negotiables. No, I wouldn't say that's the case.
So would you guys say, because I'm curious, because you just said you like women who are ambitious and goals. I've heard a lot of men say their biggest turnoff is a boss babe, or like a CEO, right? A lot of men, from what I know, get turned off by that.
No, I think it's amazing. I feel like it comes to kind of like knowing your own like self-worth and self-value.
Yeah.
Because to me, it's, some people are intimidated by it, right? And they're like, oh, I can't live up to that, or I can't, to me, it's not, right? To me, it's like, I'm comfortable, and if that's something that they want to be, like, I would love to have a powerful woman, right? To be able to say it. A CEO, I think you called it. Like,
yeah, whatever.
that's awesome. Like,
cool.
to me, it's like, I respect that, right? Yeah, I never heard that term either.
Oh.
I'm like, I respect that. To me, I admire that, right? And it, like I said, to me, it's finding a partner that you could go in and like, share ideas off of and bounce ideas off of. It's awesome. To me, I feel like I've always lived in a way where I feel comfortable, eating dinner by myself if I have to, right? And if you have someone that has that same drive and same powerhouse, you're going to be able to work it out together. And I think to me, it's that you're just continuing to grow alongside each other. So I have no problem with that. I think that's amazing.
No, me either. I want to be like that guy that's in the back, like, yo, that's my girl. That's my girl who just won that achievement or who won that award or wherever the trophy. Like, I want to be that cheerleader. I think the turnoff is if they try to put you down.
Okay.
Like if they're sitting here saying that you're not doing anything or you're not, that's where it becomes like, okay, now you're taking this.
Yeah, you don't want them to one up you.
Yeah,
it's kind of like meet me, like let's meet each other where we're at and take off.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. I think that would be the put off thing is if they're throwing that in your face, like, oh, constantly from an achievement, I guess you could say, or like, but what are you doing? That could be kind of maybe put off, but. No, I want me a CEO.
Yeah, CEO sounds good. To me, I'd be the first one taking pictures and videos and like, hey,
some of y'all men are a bunch of haters.
Here's my, here's my queen, right? Like to me, it's like put the crown on, like you wear it, like that's how it should be.
Yeah, I agree.
To me, no.
You guys are making me feel so good about myself. Thank you guys.
Yeah.
No, but it's so. I think that's so interesting because I think your answers also have a lot to do with your confidence, your self-worth, what you value, because I think that's the most important thing when you're dating. When you're dating, if you are not aligned in values, like that's going to be hard. Mm-hmm. I feel like that's the most important thing. If you value, I'm just going to say like working out and being healthy and going to therapy and like growing in that sense. And I think I make fun of people who go to therapy and I would never step foot in a gym. Like the values don't align. So we're probably not going to work out. Correct. And if you value money and like career exploration and trying different careers and going up, and I'm just like, no, I'm fine where I'm at. I just want to, take art classes and that's it. We probably wouldn't work out in that sense, right? So I think I would say just for any single person watching this is like, really think about your own values. Do people actually sit and reflect on what's important to them? Like truly important to them? Because if you can't answer it for yourself, how are you going to want something in somebody else?
Yeah. No, I think that's the big thing, right? Understanding what you bring to a relationship and most importantly, what you want out of a relationship too, right? I think a lot of times people date and they're scared to have those questions. They're scared to have those conversations.
No, I'm asking all the questions.
They're like, let's wait a month, 2 months, 3 months. We caught feelings. And then it's like, hey, we're clashing in all these values. It's like, we should have had this conversation like a while ago, right? Yeah. Instead of asking what's your favorite color, it's like, hey, do you like to travel, right? Let's have a different type of conversation and engagement.
What's your favorite color suitcase when we travel?
Yeah, something like that, right?
Yeah.
I was like, it's like the one meme was like, hey, I'll find out your favorite color once we get to the resort, right? And we'll be able to see what you're wearing the most of. But to me, like, you want to have those deeper conversations sooner, but a lot of people don't know it or they're not challenged enough. Me included, right? I think over the years, like there's been a lot of times where I'm like, yeah, I want this kind of woman. It's like, well, what are the values that you would look into? I'm like, Great question. I don't know. I never thought about that. Right. And then you start meeting people and having conversations, going to therapy, and you start answering those questions for yourself. You're like, oh, okay, now I know what we're looking for. Now I know where we can meet. So to me, I think that goes a long way too.
It's interesting because I've done a recent exercise where I'm very visual. So like in my room, I have these huge Post-it notes, and when I have these thoughts, I write them down. And I recently did an exercise on myself and asking myself, what are my values? You know, how did I get to where I was at that moment from a mental perspective? And based off of what you're just saying, I kind of want to do the exercise of what are the values and beliefs that I'm looking for in a partner, right?
You should.
100%.
Now, based off of knowing what I'm, you know, where I'm at and what my values in those, I do want to do that exercise now.
Do it tonight. That's your homework.
Kind of see what
Report out
that
tomorrow.
looks like. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that's great. And then I also like, you could say one thing like, I want this, I want that, but what do you attract?
You know, right now it's been very interesting. I've been attracting like these women that are early to mid 20s, and I'm in my late 30s, and I'm like, what in the hell is going on here? I don't know why it's fallen to that age range of women who are still growing and trying to figure out what they're looking for within their lives. Because again, going back to age, I'm in that age range where most of my friends are married, and the women that I would be dating around my age probably have kids or were already divorced. And I don't want to be a stepdad because I don't have kids quite yet. So I end up attracting myself to younger women who are, again, still, I guess, growing, I guess you could say. I don't want to say it like that. But that's been a very interesting, like, situation for me this year, I would say.
So Marco, I forgot what episode, but Marco told me, like, be ready. Like, you're in stepmom era. And I was like, no, I'm not.
100%.
He's like, you're getting older. Like, be ready. Your man, he's probably going to have kids. And I'm like, no, I know plenty of men who have never been married and don't have kids. Do you think it's wrong to say, I don't want to be a stepdad? I don't want to be a stepmom?
I would not. To me, it's not wrong because that's not what I attract right now. But if that was all I was attracting, then that's kind of pretty much like, well, this is kind of where you're at there, right?
Yeah.
I also think it's also we live in Chicago where there's 2 million people. We don't live in a smaller town where your options are a whole lot less, I guess you can say. So I think that plays a big role in the fact that we live in a heavily populated, city. So there are more likeliness of me being able to meet someone that isn't, that doesn't have kids at that age. So I think that plays a big role into it.
I agree. It depends on your values, right? For me, like, I want to have my own family, right? I want to be able to share our kids' first steps, our kids' first I want to be scared with you, right? I want to be able to have that magical moment. And I feel like if I become a stepdad, I kind of lose that, right? And at the end of the day, like, I'm never going to have 100% of my partner, right? It's always going to be at least 50 minimum,
That's true.
right? I'm not 70. So to me, it's
selfish.
do I want that, right? Right now at the moment, to your point, like, no, right? It's not what I'm looking for. It's not what I would want. Maybe 10 years from now, sure, right? Maybe if I'm like, you know what, like, I fell in love with that person or something happened where we rekindled, that's the scenario, sure. But to me, like, at this moment, I'm like, no, like, that's not what I would want, right? And to me, it's like, I look at my vision board, right? And I'm like, all right, what values do I want from my future woman? And to me, I look at that, I'm like, no, these are the things that I would want. And to me, like, I don't want to say settle, but I wouldn't want to, like, compromise on some of the values that I have to be able to say, you know what, I just want to be in a relationship because I want to be in a relationship. Like, to me, it's like, no, like, I want to make sure.
We didn't come this far just to come this far, y'all.
Yeah.
Like, you're 36 single. Like, might as well go to 40 if you have to.
Well, I mean, it goes back to talking about comparing myself. I mean, bringing up religion or spirituality, I feel like, God has me in this particular position for a reason.
Yeah.
So capitalize that, and it goes into, like I was mentioning earlier, like me deciding to quit my career and start my own business. A lot of it had to do with the fact that I was like, you know what, I'm 36, I don't have any kids, I'm only financially responsible for myself. If I'm going to make this step, I better do this now, because if I was in a different situation, I wouldn't have been able to do that, to take the risk.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's, I think, again, for me, the whole idea of dating someone with kids right now, it's probably not like step one, but hey, if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to say
there's anything wrong with it too. Like, to me, I feel like people that have dated, like been a stepdad, like, man, like, I look at them and I'm like, they're better than dads.
It takes a special kind of person.
For
100%. You have to step up.
You
Yeah, you have to
literally
step up.
step up.
Literally
You're
step
not
up.
dance.
And to me, the men that could do that, I'm like, wow, they're powerhouses, right? They know
Yeah.
exactly what they're doing. They know
That's true.
exactly what they want. And to me, kudos to them. Like
Yo,
I said,
I have
like,
a lot of friends that are like, I mean, not a lot. I have a few friends, and I have an immense amount of respect for them.
oh
for,
my
Yeah.
god,
for
same,
that. You know,
same.
like that's
To me, I've seen it, and I'm like, wow. I'm like, and the relationship that they have with the kids is phenomenal.
Agreed.
I'm like, oh my
Agreed.
goodness, like this is so beautiful. But so to me, it's like, you know, there's people that want different things, right?
Yeah.
You're always gonna find people that might be happy that, hey, I got young 20-year-olds, or hey, I got older 30-year-olds. Whatever it may be,
Yeah.
is what you attract, what you want. But it's not everyone's cup of tea, right?
Yeah.
So to me, there's nothing wrong with it, either or. But to me, I've seen both sides where it's just super beautiful and it ends up working out.
agreed.
So we talked about value. So fact or not, okay? Our value is determined by everyone except ourselves. How true do you think this is in your experience, or is it not? Your value is determined by everyone except yourself.
I don't know, because someone's perception of you is going to be different based off of how they know you. So I feel like my value is based off of what I'm able to provide, not based off of what other people's thoughts of who I am is. That's kind of just where my head is when it goes to that question. So I don't know, when we talk value, do we talk accolades? Are we talking about
Yeah,
accomplishments? Are we
However you see value, right? Everybody could see value differently too.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
I feel like value to me is like, what am I bringing to the table? What am I
Yes.
bringing to the relationship, right? And so I don't think about it as what other people see me as. I think about of what I'm able to provide based off of my experiences, my knowledge, my skills, and my abilities. That's the way that I view value.
I agree. I kind of the same boat. It's a little bit of a harder question just because, to your point, like I have multiple circles, right? I have my dance circle, my soccer friends, my work friends, my family, right? They all see me in different lights of myself.
Yeah.
Very few people see me in all of them, right?
Yeah.
My circles don't really collide too much. So people are like, oh, wait. In the dance team, I say, oh, Jairo is XYZ, right? In the soccer world, they're like, they're XYZ. And then at work, they're like, no, he's like this big professional. He's this, he's that. So
Yeah.
Exactly.
it depends. But to me, it's the way that I see my value is my close knit of people, right? The people that know me, the people that are close to me, that I've been vulnerable with, that I've been able to pull the layers back and be like, hey, here's who I am as a person. Take me, you know, as I am and who I am. And that's the people that I'm like, okay, I know I bring value. But at the end of the day, to me, I feel like I also, everyone's opinion kind of does matter in a way. Because to me, it's like, I feel like one of the bigger characteristics a lot of people mention to me is like, you have a lot of energy. You bring a lot of positivity. So to me, it's like my value in some people's life is bringing a smile, making them happy, right?
Yeah.
And to me, it's like, I feed off of that, where I'm like, oh, like I made someone's, my goal is to, one day when I leave this earth, to someone to say my name and be like, he made me smile once.
Yeah.
Right.
Aw.
And with that,
Love that.
I'm like, I'm happy. Right. So I provided that kind of value in a way, but it's just different scenarios that, you know, unfortunately people see me in different lights. No one can know me 100%, but the people that do kind of know the value that I provide.
I agree with you. It's so hard because, for example, like I feel like I bring a lot of value into any person's life, right? It doesn't have to necessarily be a partner. Just my close circle, my students, my coworkers, my parents, anybody. But for example, let's say I'm dating and there's a very traditional man who wants a housewife, who wants somebody to just stay home, take care of the kids, not be career driven, cooks really good food. He may not see any value in me, right? So in his eyes, I don't have value to his life.
But I think you have different values, right? So you
Right.
still have values.
I do, but like depending on who you are and what you're looking for, you may not see me as valuable. Versus like the woman you described, you fucking love me, right?
Yeah,
Like
yeah,
I
yeah,
am
yeah. I see
everything
what you're saying.
you guys have described in a sense. But if you are a traditional man looking for somebody to stay home and you don't, for example, like really traditional, like, you know, you have to tell me where you're going every minute. Like, what do you mean you're going to go out with a coworker? Like, this is not what it is. You report home and you do this. And I'm not that.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people, again, will say, like, you're a little too cocky, but you're not really feminine as far as what they see as, like, feminine as a motherly figure. Where
Okay.
I do think I'm going to be a great mother, but I think I'm going to be a great mother who holds her own and has a lot to show for her name, not just the last name of your father. my husband.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And it's a lot of people find controversy in when I say, when I graduate, obviously with my PhD, I'll be Dr. Torres. So when I get married, ideally I get married. When I do, I would
Knock on
want
wood.
to hyphenate my name to their name because
mad at that.
I earned Dr. Torres.
Yeah, you did.
So a lot of men don't like that though. Because I've had this
it's-
conversation,
you're- it-
and
you're
men are
just-
just like,
those aren't the right
so
ones.
You're not the
what?
right. You're
Like,
not
what do you
attracting the
mean?
right. You're not
Yeah.
attracting the
Well,
right
no,
people.
these are just like people I talk to. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
like,
fair.
and then there's other men like you guys that are like, yeah, I don't blame you.
To me, it's like
you worked hard for it.
It's 2025, right? Like I could never. I'll be honest. Like I can't expect my future wife, to be like, "I'll take your last name." I can't. Like that's not.
I'll
realistic.
take his last name,
My
but
last
I'm gonna
name's
hyphenate it when
very-
I'm signing
See, even
documents.
that,
Bland.
even that's more romantic, right? Like, great,
Aw,
you're,
I'm so
you're
romantic.
hyphenating the last name.
Yeah.
Like to me, like there's my mom is like till this day she's like, nope, I'm Carpio. Like I'm
Oh,
not Ortiz.
really?
Yeah, like she was.
Wow.
She did switch her name to Ortiz, and then over she's like, no, I'm really proud of my last name. Like I want to be Carpio, right? And
interesting.
everything she goes, she's like Fanny Carpio, right? In a lot of different ways. And to me, I'm like, cool. Like she's whatever you want, right? My dad has been very open. Like, yeah, she loves me. That's all I care about. Like, I don't care what your last name says. I don't call you Mrs. Ortiz every day, right? You're the love of my life, and that's all it is. It doesn't matter what the last name says. So to me, I think one, you always have value. Some men just don't see, if they don't see the value in you, and it comes to all of us, right? I feel like even as men, right?
Yeah.
They might say, "Oh, you work too hard," right? Or
Oh,
you're
yeah.
too career oriented. You're why are you in the why are you in the gym all the time? Why are you doing this? Why are you doing that?
She doesn't go to the gym.
That's I don't have value. I don't go to the gym. There
but,
you go.
but to me,
yeah.
like people say that, right? Whereas in
for you.
yeah, for me, and it's like, well, that's who I am. That's
Yeah.
who I am as
Yeah.
a person, right? Or people might, even like maybe talking to someone outside, it seems like, why do you dance all the time? Why are you traveling all the time, right? They might not see the value in it. Doesn't mean the value doesn't exist. It's just we don't
Yeah.
align, and that's completely.
Let me
okay.
ask you this question: if you
Yeah.
have kids, do you want the kids to have the hyphened last name,
No,
or do they want
my,
to have the
my
the-
kids could have their dad's last name. I think for me, it's just from a professional lens. I would want to hyphenate my name, but
Yeah.
honestly, it's really only in the professional field. Like I think anywhere else, if I go, I would introduce myself as Mrs. Blank.
Yeah.
But professionally, like I would want it hyphenated.
Yeah.
And I think the thing with me is because yes, I'm very transparent. I'm not Susie Homemaker. I'm not like the cook. I'm not naturally that. I have friends who are. Fiamma, like that. She throws down. Alexa, like they do. And they have other amazing qualities. That I'm lacking in. But the difference is I feel like once I meet my person, like I would want to learn and do better in that field. Not because I'm pressured to do it to fit somebody else's lens of what a wife should be.
I mean,
Yeah.
you could have somebody that maybe are the type of man that likes to cook
Oh,
and
that's
likes
my
to.
dream.
Right? You know what I'm
Oh,
saying? Maybe you need to find you a chef
I'll
or
do the
something like
dishes.
that.
I
Like,
promise. I'll do the
You know?
dishes.
She's gonna buy a dishwasher.
Yeah.
She's not doing the
No, I don't
Yeah.
even know how to work a dishwasher. I know how to wash dishes. No, but like ideally that'll be great. Like that
No?
balance,
Yeah.
right? Like put like give and take. Like okay, you know what? Like we'll go grocery shopping together.
Correct.
You cook. I'll clean.
Or
we'll
you
cook
both-
together. We got a cookbook. Let's learn how to do it
Yeah,
together.
yeah,
I think
yeah,
that's
yeah.
so romantic
There's
when you
Agreed.
do that.
There's YouTube. You can learn everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, you can learn it. And to me, it's like if you find someone that doesn't know how to cook, you're gonna figure it out. No
and
one's
that
gonna
makes
starve.
and that makes the relationship fun because you're
Yeah.
doing stuff
And
together.
you're learning together.
You're learning together.
And that's
you're-
being vulnerable too.
Exactly.
100%.
Exactly.
Just like I wouldn't expect, like, okay, it's almost equivalent. I'm not saying I'm like this, but if a man's like, oh, you should know how to cook and that, well, you should know how to mow the lawn. You should know how to change light fixtures. You should know how to build a damn house, right? But I'm not demanding all of that. But ideally, I would want a man who is pretty handy.
That's fair. I mean, I'm not going to do any
So you want a
electric
traditional-
work. Like,
No,
I'm not
but
You
going
want
to
a
be.
traditional man, but you don't want to be a traditional
No,
woman.
no, not fully traditional. But like, for
Half
example, like
hybrid,
you should
hybrid.
know how to change a light bulb.
Yeah, I mean.
Okay, Tati. I mean,
Like
that's-
you should like if we buy a new TV, do we have to wait to set it up because you got to call your homeboy to do it, or do you know how to do it?
Like, what, you talking about, like, hang it on the wall or something like that?
Yeah, like
I
hanging
mean,
on the wall.
Yeah, you should be able to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like, but I'm not
I'm gonna
going
ask
to
you,
the
does
extreme.
your dad do that?
No,
Exactly.
but I recognize things I love about my dad and what I would want differently in a partner. Because my dad is a very hard worker. He's super committed to his family.
Yeah.
Like, and not a lot of men are truly like that. There are men who go to work and then after work they're like, you know what, I'm gonna go get some beers with the guys, blow off some steam. No, my dad runs home to his family. Like his time is committed to his family, and I want a man like that. That's committed to my family. Our
You can
family.
hang a TV.
That can
And
cook,
hang,
hang a
and,
TV.
and could cook and hang a TV.
Cut the grass, build a house.
No,
He's got
like,
this.
no, ideally,
You want
if he
Jesus.
can't- if he can't cook, like that's fine. You know, like I
we're
said, we can learn
you
together.
shit.
I think that's great, being able to be vulnerable and learn things together. And that was my point, right? Maybe he can't do all these things, but I think what's sexy and romantic is like, I'm a TikTok it, so we don't have to worry about it, and I'm gonna learn and I'm gonna get it done.
Yeah.
Like effort goes a very, very long way.
Yeah.
Yeah,
In my
I think
opinion.
it goes back to if he wanted to, he would. Right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
I still
No,
remember
100%.
my first girlfriend. I was like 17 years old. I told my parents, I was like, hey, like I want to cook for her. I've never cooked in my life.
Wow.
I was like, what do I do? I was like, what's the easiest thing to cook?
I love
She's
that.
like,
Spaghetti.
it was like, make a chicken Alfredo pasta. I was like, perfect. Can you make the chicken? I'll make the pasta, but leave it in the back so it looks like I made the chicken, and I'll make the pasta.
I love that.
So then, like, I had the whole living room. I went in, I did all such. She's like, oh my God, this is so amazing. And I'm like, yeah, what do you think about the chicken? I spent all the time doing it. All I did was the
So you're
pasta.
a liar.
I did the pasta and
So
I put
you're
the
a
sauce.
liar. Okay.
If you wanted to, you would.
So
So to me,
lying.
it's like I didn't know how to cook, right? I
Yeah,
was like,
yeah, yeah.
I don't know anything.
that's fair.
Now, obviously I know how to cook a little more, or I'm like, hey, let's go get dinner, right?
Yeah.
You find your caveats into
Yeah.
what you want to be able to do.
Agreed.
Absolutely. So, Marco, you brought up my dad,
Yeah.
which makes me think about another question and another scenario. Do you guys feel
Shout out
like
Caesar.
fathers like my dad? Because this is a very personal question to me.
Yeah.
My dad treats me like a queen to the T, and I think that's why I have high expectations. Do you think fathers who spoil their daughters are setting them up for failure when they're dating?
No.
No,
No, I
negative.
don't, not at all.
Not at all.
No.
To me, it's like I think the father should be able to set the bar high, right? I mean, in any type of capacity. My best friend has a daughter, and to him and I are always talking like, "Hey, how are you?" Like every day he's working extra hard because he's like, "I want to make sure that I could raise the bar so he opened the door for me." No, that should be a standard, right? That should be a standard in the household. He did X, Y, Z thing. No, like you want to make sure that you're giving that. Because at the end of the day, if you think about it, if I have a daughter and a gentleman comes in and he's trying to like marry my daughter, I want to make sure that I feel comfortable saying, you're going to take care of her, right? Not that she can't take care of herself, because my job as a dad is to make sure that she could take care of herself and she could be a boss or a CEO or whatever she wants to be and encourage whatever lifestyle she wants to do. But to me, it's like, I want to make sure that I could raise her and understand, hey, here's what it means to be loved. Here's what it means to like be taken care of,
Yep.
Yeah.
understand respect, understand emotional intelligence, understand everything else. So when she does go into the real world, she's ready, right? She's able to understand, no, that's wrong. This is right. That's wrong. She can make her own decisions, but you want to be able to be that role model, right? Because to me, it's like, I look at the way my dad the way that my dad like treats my younger sister. Like my sister gets spoiled, gets to do whatever she wants, and I'm not whatever she wants, but she gets whatever she wants from my dad. And to me, I'm like, when I talk to her, I'm like, your husband one day needs to be able to meet that and go above and
Exactly.
beyond, because how much my dad has suffered for you. The hard work that he's done to put us where we're at, right? So to me, like when I become a dad, hopefully, right, and love being a girl dad one day, it would be awesome to be able to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to show you the best things in life.
Exactly.
And if somebody can't meet it, sorry, sucks to be them. They gotta step it up.
Okay.
No, I agree 100% on everything he just said. I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be hard to live up to the father standards because they're always going to see their daughter as their baby girl.
Yeah.
Like, they're always going to look at them as if when they were a child, right? And it's always going to be very hard to exceed those standards. But I don't think they're, it's never any situation where it's not realistic. You know
But
what I
if
mean?
he wanted to, he would rise to the occasion, is
Exactly.
what you guys are saying.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Man, I feel bad for anybody who I date after this episode because I already felt some way and y'all are hyping me up even more. That's all I'm saying. Okay, so before we go into our tricky or trifling, because I love that, my last question is, what are icks in women when you're dating? Because I think we asked Marco a long time ago, like, what are icks in women? And it was really hard to answer that. But you're also a married man.
Yeah, but to me it's different because I haven't dated anyone in over a decade.
Right.
Are we talking about like while you're on a date or just
I
dating
guess in general.
general?
It could be on a date or in general women icky things.
I think one of the things for me right now is like on a date is just like being on your phone too much or like overly taking photos and being on social media while we're doing some sort of an experience, right? Because I like going on experiential dates, whether it's, you know, going to a sporting event or a museum, a private event, concert, something along the lines of that, which I know you want to be able to show people what you're doing, I guess, in today's society. I think that right now is something that's been a little bit kind of annoying is when you're too much on your phone or too heavily social media
not
involved
present.
and you're not present. I think that's one of the things that's a lost art these days is people being present in the moment, which is hard from a dating perspective because how can you be vulnerable with somebody if you don't feel like they're listening to you?
Yeah, and then you don't feel safe.
Yeah.
Bingo.
Right?
Yeah.
You know, you don't even feel like they're present with you. So why would I even want to even get into the point where we're having these in-depth conversations
Absolutely.
opposed to just having so what's your favorite color or what's your favorite song or something along the lines of that because you're not present with me in the moment. You're so focused on something else that to me is a turnoff. I think that's a big ick for me personally.
Honestly, I couldn't even think of any ick, but that would probably be it, right? Being able to not be present with you when you're on a date or you're having a conversation or you're just talking, right? At the end of the day, I think vulnerability, you have to be vulnerable first to receive vulnerability. So I can't imagine if I was trying to like have a conversation about, you know, one of our core values and someone's like, yeah, that's great. Yeah, it sounds good.
Yeah.
You know, like it just...
Dismissive.
Yeah, you can't do it. To me, every time I go on a date, like either my phone's out of the way or it's in my pocket and I'm like engaging that person. Because to me, like that time is valuable, right? To me, time is the only thing I have that's the most precious to me, right? To me, is like I do a lot. I'm involved in a lot of things, and you know, when it goes back to like if he wanted to, he would. Like to me, people ask me like, when are you free? I'm like, I'm never free.
But
I
you
was like,
make time
but I'll make
for
time.
what
sure.
you want to make
But I'll
time
make time.
for. That's
sure.
me.
I think Tati invites me to her to coach your teams, to do all those things. Like,
Yeah.
when you're free, I'm like, Tati, I'm never free.
Yeah.
But you tell me what's important, I'll make the time.
Agreed.
Right?
Yeah.
I'll find ways to make that important. And
Yeah.
to me, it would be no more disrespect than you show up and they're like on their phone.
Yeah.
Or even like just if they're not authentic, right? Or you could tell that they're just not like if you ask them a question, like an open-ended question, and they give you like a one sentence, and you're like, okay, and
Can you expand?
yeah.
and yeah, can you tell me more? No? Oh, okay. What else, right? And then there's people that just naturally are going to tell you a bunch of things, or you'll see your conversations, your text messages are going to be like paragraphs
That's me.
long. And I'm like, they start sending you voice notes, right? You're like, hey, let's connect to voice message. And I'm like, this is awesome. Like, this is the authenticity that I want.
That's more the type of guy I am.
And that's
too.
what to
I'd
me, I'm
rather
like,
have that.
I can't be talking to 3 or 5 people like that because
Yeah, it's
that's a lot of
tiring.
time. That's a lot of like vulnerability that you're going into. To me, I'm like, I'd rather dedicate myself to one person and go all in and then see if it works. Great. If it doesn't, it doesn't. But to me, you start seeing that when people are on their phones or they're doing different things, they're just not feeling you, or they don't want to. They don't want
Exactly.
to. So you could tell right away. It's like, okay, like, all right, this didn't work out, right?
I agree,
It
'cause
wasn't
I
what we
think-
wanted to.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I agree because I feel like when a man talks, when a man speaks, and he speaks with conviction, and he says it with his chest, oh, I'm all ears, I'm all
Yep.
eyes, like
Yep.
I'm in it. Like
And
that
honestly,
says a lot.
I prefer to have like phone conversations than text
I
messaging
love,
these days.
I love FaceTimes.
Yeah, like
Is that
I don't-
weird?
FaceTimes.
Is that weird?
I'm still trying to get used to the whole FaceTime.
Like if
kinda
you
deal.
just start dating or talking, and I want to FaceTime, is that a little too much?
I think it depends. I've
Depends
had
on-
both.
yeah.
Okay.
I've had both. There's no preference because to me, like there's times where I'm just busy doing a lot of stuff, and I'm like, if I just put in my AirPods and talk to you or do whatever, great.
Yeah, that's
But-
me.
yeah.
I would rather
So
like
convenience.
Yeah, like I could be still like doing the dishes. I could be doing laundry. I have my headphones in. But if I'm FaceTiming you, that's gonna look kind of like rude of me if I put you down and you're facing the ceiling
Yeah.
and you're
Ceiling,
not
bro.
really. You know what I mean? I feel like that's a little bit more maybe intimate. I guess you could
Yeah.
say.
But to me, to your point, like I've done it before where
Same.
like, okay, let's FaceTime and I am washing the dishes, we're on the phone, or I'm working on my computer and we're like FaceTiming just to like be able to connect a little more.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, I rather like now that I'm a little bit more older too, I'm like, hey, like let me talk to you and then I'm gonna go pick you up.
Yeah.
Like let me just see you, right?
outside.
I'd rather I'm outside. Like let's go get food. Let's go get this, right? Like let's work out, whatever it may be, right? To me, it's like I want to be able to have that connection, and there's nothing better than being face to face.
I feel like if
Yeah.
it's like a longer distance kind of thing, then FaceTiming is like has to happen. But if it's a situation where I know I could just come see you tomorrow or something like
Okay.
that, then I don't think I
That's
need to do
fair.
FaceTime on a regular basis.
Okay. Oh my God. I could keep going with this conversation, y'all, but like we're going to keep people here 500 hours. So we are going to get to the end of the episode with my favorite segment, Tricky or trifling? So I'm going to give you a scenario. You tell me, is this a tricky scenario or is it straight up trifling? I have 3. I'm going to make them quick. So when you answer it, it's like hot fire. You can't think about it.
Boom.
It's tricky, it's trifling. Why? Move on. Okay. Scenario number 1. You take a girl on a date, a very nice restaurant. Doesn't matter where the restaurant is. You order like steak, salad, whatever. She orders the steak, the crab legs, the salad, the mac and cheese. She orders almost double or more of what you order. Is that tricky or trifling? Like,
That's
should a
fine.
girl, like,
I
should a
think-
girl know, like, okay, girl, you pushing it?
No, because to me, I feel like I'm the one doing that. I'll be the one like,
But,
all right,
okay,
let's
let's
go
say
get
you
this,
do
let's go
5
get that.
I mean,
things
it's
and she
hard.
does 11.
I mean, like it could be tricky and trifling. The trifling thing is if she only takes one bite of every item and doesn't actually eat the food.
But what if she wants it to go?
I
What
mean,
if
then
she's
that's
like, oh,
tricky.
I want to take it to go?
Okay, that's trifling because then we're not enjoying it. Then
Yeah.
you're there for a free meal.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
But to me, it's like on a normal date, order whatever you want. Like I
I
want
like
to try
the
everything
spread.
too.
I like the spread. I'm
Dollar
more of a
menu only.
I'm more of a shareable kind of guy. That's like when I go out to eat out. That's one of the first things I ask is like, do you like entrees or do you want to share a couple things? Because I'm
I
more of a
wanna share.
shareable kind of guy.
Yeah.
I like to try a bunch of different things and I let them choose what the items are that we get to
Yeah.
share.
To me, I'm the first person. Like, what do you want? Like,
Yeah,
let's start off with
yeah.
appetizer. Let's go, and then let's get recommendations on the food. Like, I'm all about trying. I'm also spoiled with my job. They always give me like a lot of different type of food. So to me, I'm like, let's get all the food that we want. Like,
The
I'm
trifling
good.
piece is the whole idea of taking it to go.
Yeah.
And
It's
then
It's all
now
about
I
being
got-
authentic. Are we
Yeah.
sharing this meal and we're connecting and we're eating all this food together? Great.
Okay.
If it's like on her phone the whole time, ordering food, taking it to go,
That's trifling. That's
trifling
Okay.
100%.
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
Scenario number 2. You, not your closest friend, but a guy in your circle that you're cool with. He's like, yo, I invited a whole bunch of girls to hang out with us. There's one girl I'm really into, right?
Mm-hmm.
So the girls come. The girl he's really into is actually into you. What do you do in that situation? She's like, hey, I have your number. Like, we should get together. She's not giving him the time of the day.
I had this
I-
conversation.
If
Yeah, actually
if you
just-
entertain the girl and give her your number, is that tricky or trifling?
I had the conversation with some friends about this, and I feel like it's funny how like women's perspective is different than guys' perspective. I think as a guy, it's kind of broke. Like, hey man, she's not feeling you. Like, she's feeling me. Like, are we cool? Are we
Yeah.
good? You asked for that confirmation. The guy's like, go for it. Yeah, I could tell she's into
Yeah,
you.
like,
then we're cool.
Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt you, but like, there's definitely been situations where I've had friends of mine where we've been in the scenario and we just have to have that quick. You cool with this? If not,
Yeah.
it's
Yeah.
okay. Like,
give
there's
them a
plenty.
look- you give them a look and they're like-
yo,
So,
you're good.
so it
Like,
would be trifling if you don't
Don't-
have that conversation.
correct.
If I go in and
But the
try
guy-
stealing her, trifling.
Yeah. Like,
Okay.
if I don't have this conversation with the homie and I just go ahead and just start doing it without even like having that convo with them, that's trifling as hell for me.
Okay.
But like, I've had this situation happen multiple times where I
Yeah.
just have the convo, or someone comes to me like, "Yo, G, like she's kind of feeling me a little bit more. Go right ahead." Or,
Yeah.
"Hey, bro, like,
Yeah.
she kind of feeling me. What do you think?" "Nah, I actually really like that. Cool. Then I'm
Yeah,
not
then
even
you
going.
back
I'm
off.
not
Okay.
even going to make a move.
Yep.
Then I'm gonna just
Bow
back
wow.
off
100%.
and just keep it moving.
Okay, last one. And this, I think, leads into a huge conversation, but we don't got time for all that.
Make it quick. Make it quick.
Let's say you're dating somebody, right? They're not your girlfriend. Yeah, not yet, but you're really into her.
Okay.
Right? You're dating somebody, but you notice when you hang out, you're on dates, whatever it is, she has a male friend. A male, single, heterosexual friend who is constantly calling her like, oh, I want to vent about my day. Let me tell you this. Oh, I have to run errands. Do you want to run errands with me? Like, always calling her at all hours of the night. And she's just like, oh, I go help him pick up prescriptions and my medicine. I have Sam's Club, so he comes with me. He's telling me how his day is. He hates his job. How do you feel about that? Is that a tricky situation because it's not your girlfriend, or is it trifling? Like, why is there?
I think it's tricky
It's
because for
tricky.
me, like I have girl best friends, right? Where there's been so many times over the years where I've called them like, hey, here's what I go. I need a girl's perspective on this. Like, I need your help, right? But there's a clear distinction of we're friends or we're not friends. Like,
Yeah.
calling at all times of the hour, like
Calls you
if she's
multiple
calling like at 3 a.m, I'll be like, hey, what's
That's a little.
what's
different.
going on, right? But at the end of the day, like if there's a respect where we get introduced or like we see where
was
we're
gonna
at,
bring
like
that up.
that's we know, hey, here's his role, here's my role. Cool. Like for me, I'm a very secure guy too, so like I have no issues with them having like a guy best friend because you need that, right? To me, like I said, I have plenty of girl best friends where it's helped me a lot over the years, and it's helped me become who I am today. Because without getting a girl's perspective, you don't learn, right?
Yeah, I was gonna
You think about like your perspective, and it's like, oh, I didn't see it that way. Oh, I didn't understand it that way, right? So to me, the same thing for a girl. Like they have plenty of guy best friends. Are they trifling? Maybe. You never know. But if she
Wait,
has that
hold
clear,
on. Are you double standard? Is this a double standard?
no,
Right now?
I meant like if he's trying to get more out of her, right?
Okay,
Like-
but
like,
what
there's
if
more-
the girl's trying?
I just
as
like,
long
it-
as
there's-
long as she like is respectful, she like sets the boundary. I trust the girl 100%.
There's so
You know
many
what I mean?
variables behind this, though, right?
Yeah.
Like, how long have they known each other?
Longer than you.
Are they childhood friends?
No.
Like, I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know. I
It's
don't
tricky.
think it's very tricky. Am I getting introduced or am I not getting introduced?
Okay, you get introduced. He still calls her all the time, and
I mean,
they
if
want to
he's a
run
cool
errands.
dude and he's homie and like he's not like standoffish
Okay.
when we kick it, and like he
Okay.
ends up being
Yeah.
somebody that I'm like, all right, cool. Now I see why you hanging out with like so and so, opposed to like if we link up and he's being super standoffish in the corner, like basically talking shit, and then I'm gonna be like, all right, now we have a situation here
Yeah.
that I don't want to get involved in, and I don't like to do like it's a him or me or him
Yeah,
kind of
no,
thing.
no,
I'm
no,
just gonna
no.
address
never.
the situation
Yeah.
and say, hey, this is how I felt being in this particular moment. Is this person always like this, or was this a one-off?
But
Maybe
okay,
he
so
still-
you would communicate it like,
Yeah,
tell
yes.
me more about this.
yeah,
Okay.
you have to.
What are your? Come on, married
bro.
man. What are your thoughts?
You know my thoughts.
No, I want you to say it
think
on the
that
podcast.
Men and women cannot be friends without a purpose. And that's always been my thing. Like me and you, we're friends because we have this podcast, right?
Oh my God! Did you just call me your friend?
I know it made your day.
It
Did you
took
cry?
2 years,
Don't cry.
guys.
Don't
he
cry.
literally says we're coworkers at best.
This is your best date
Oh
ever.
my God, this is my favorite episode. I'm
See what
sorry,
happens when you bring
Paulina.
three guys
You have
in?
your
Oh my
podcast
God.
threesome?
All the
Now you got three guys
testosterone.
now.
We're
friends.
All right, so we're work friends.
Okay, whatever. Anyway, okay.
So that's what I think personally. But yeah, I mean, I don't think it's anything as far as like an insecure thing. I think for me, it's a respect thing. Like I don't have girlfriends. Like I don't have friends like who I consider my girlfriends who I'd go and talk to. I have people who I have in my life for a purpose. You, Paulina, anything else. And my wife has the same. But I think it's a different dynamic. Like between you guys are single and it's a different dating world and everything. But yeah, for you, Tati, I know you for a fact that if your boyfriend had a girl best friend who he was hitting up all the time, I don't think that would fly with you.
Yeah, I feel like if you're talking to her almost the equal amount of time you talk to me,
Yeah.
I don't think I'm cool
But
with
it-
that.
But like, how does she
I'm
like?
a very secure person. Like I
Same. But-
truly am.
but then it
I think
depends.
certain things I'm like
I just, like-
I don't want somebody knowing my dirty laundry
Yeah,
either.
no.
Like you're
No, no,
whispering
So
to
that's
her
a
about
respect
me,
thing, right?
being
So
like-
that's,
It's a
that's
respect
a boundary
thing.
thing
Yeah,
where
there's-
you could be best friend. Like to me, I have my best friends, but I'm not like, hey, today we ate, we did this. Like it sets your boundaries where to your point, like you're not boyfriend, girlfriend just yet. But to me, it's I'm gonna start hanging out with that person more and more often. I don't want her to be on her phone at all. It's gonna stop. It's gonna start dying down in a way, right?
And that's what I
because
was-
you're creating that authenticity with that partner. You're starting to create that relationship where naturally you're gonna start gravitating towards
Agreed.
one another, and it'll naturally form. If that doesn't happen, and we're hanging out, we're having a date, and you're like, "Hold on, buddy called me. Now I gotta text him back." Then it's like, "All right,
Yeah.
what's going on here, right?" So I think just authentically, that'll kind of fade out.
Okay.
But to me, originally, like it's not gonna be a problem.
Okay.
If there's something more to worry about, it'll come out.
Okay.
Yeah, if it's gonna be a problem,
I
it's probably
agree.
gonna be more of a
I
problem
agree
for
with
that
Jairo.
for the friend. It's
If
probably gonna
it's
end up being
more, it'll come out.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, and it'll end up being the friend who's going to be the one who's going to be a little bit more upset than anything.
Yeah.
Because they're going to feel possibly threatened, right, at that point, because they were probably wanting to pursue, it didn't work out, and now they have a new guy in the scene. and
Also,
now-
disclaimer: my vision is like if you get married, if you're dating and shit, that's different. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, if I was
Like, if
married, I'm
you're-
not going to
if
have
you're
just
dating-
random
Yeah, but
girlfriends
also-
that I'm going to hit, like...
Yeah,
But
exactly.
also-
yeah.
I mean, that's circumstantial.
Date,
Then
yes,
then it's my-
but if you're
yeah.
established boyfriend and girlfriend,
all right,
right?
I'll give you a
if
2 year.
you're
2 years.
intentional, like these men are saying they are intentional, right?
Yeah.
I feel like don't expect, oh, there's a ring, there's a switch. Like you there shouldn't be a switch the minute you get married.
Girl.
You should see those changes and
And
things
Yeah,
happening.
yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
yeah.
along.
Authentically,
Oh, okay.
authentically, it'll
Okay.
like go switching and
Yeah.
switching
Okay.
where
You want to
you're
switch
no
these bank
longer.
accounts? There better be a switch. What you mean?
Yeah, I mean...
No,
What you
you know
talking
what I
about?
mean?
Because if it's just at the very beginning stages of dating and that's happening,
Yeah,
and there's
that's
then that's
you don't
natural.
have enough.
Yeah.
There's no
Yeah.
substantial.
You don't have a
Yeah.
toilet to shit on at that point.
Yeah, like
Right.
there's nothing I could even sit here and hold,
Yeah.
on. Like, whereas,
Yeah.
over time, we're 2 years in, and I don't foresee the case where this
Yeah.
this heterosexual person would still be
Yeah.
there.
Because it
Okay.
won't. It
It
won't
won't
be that.
happen.
It won't
It'll
happen.
phase out. It'll phase out.
authentically fade out.
It'll phase out.
Okay.
All right.
On that note,
Cut it.
we are gonna
Time
have
to
to
fade
end
out.
it here. This was amazing. I'm so glad we did this episode. I've learned so much. My ego is a little higher now. I'm so sorry because I feel like so many people tell me I'm like too much, and I don't feel like too much today.
They're just being nice to you. You are very much. That's okay. I'll be real with you.
Anyways, but thank you all so much for watching. Please like, subscribe, and follow. Where can they follow you guys on social media? What are your handles?
I don't even know. JORT07 maybe.
Okay, we'll fact check it and put it on the screen.
think it's
Breezy
JRT
88 GEEBREEZY 88.
Yes, so follow them, ask them questions, slide in the DMs. You know, now you see their values, right?
DMs
if,
are
they,
open.
if they align, here you go. You are welcome. And you can follow me at Talk with Tati and at Never Too Shy Pod. We love you guys. Thank you for watching.
Bye.